just thought I'd grab the opportunity to give a bit of an insight into what's going on with the coronavirus restrictions, how some of the clergy, including myself, are reacting to that situation, what we're doing, what we're busy with, and also an insight as to what priests have to deal with on a day-to-day basis as well, even without those restrictions. So at the moment, obviously, we've got a limited number of things that we can do. We're, like everybody else, being forced to work from home. For those of us who have live streaming facilities, it's been a great blessing for us to be able to use those and stay in contact with our parishioners and to be able to celebrate at least the Mass in a semi-public way. It's very artificial and very abnormal, and it feels that as well. But it's been great to be able to have the feedback from people saying at least there's a presence there that they can connect with, even if it's a spiritual communion. So there are a number of other things, though, that we've had the opportunity to concentrate on while we've been at lockdown, and we've got plenty of things to do. For those of us who are involved in NHS chaplaincy like myself, we've got rotas where we administer the sacrament of the sick to those who are dying, which is a very important part of our ministry. We've also got other ministries, funerals at the moment, and certainly covering other parishes whose priests are of an age now that they're having to self-isolate. So that's keeping us busy. Graveside and crematorium chapel funerals and those sort of pastoral activities, phoning people just to make sure that they're okay as well, the housebound, because we obviously can't go and see them in person. But it has given us a great chance to use technology and use the internet, which is a massive, massive boost to us. It's a great blessing to us to be able to concentrate on catechetical content that we just haven't had the opportunity, the time to do with other pastoral responsibilities. It's something that has been very obvious to us that catechesis is something that just simply hasn't been done enough over a long time, and it's very important. It's something that we can prepare for. We can do a certain amount of that online, but also we can prepare for things when we come back into some degree of normality, even though that's not going to really happen probably in the way that we think it is. We still can do a lot of preparation for that, sacramental preparation and teaching, etc., etc. So that's a great opportunity for us. In normality, we would be doing all sorts of different things, and the lifestyle of a priest is very different depending on the individual priest, the individual parish, what we've got on, schools, prisons, hospitals. Some parishes have all of those, some parishes don't. So it's a very varied lifestyle, and the priesthood really is what you make it as a priest. It's something that if you have initiative, you will always find something to do, something to occupy your time. There's always opportunities to teach, to learn something new yourself, to get engaged with the realities of people's lives and the challenges that they're facing on a day-to-day basis. But a typical day for a priest in normal conditions would be you'd have to pray the office, the Divine Office, morning prayer, Office of Readings. That's an obligation, which it shouldn't be a burden. It should be something that feeds and nourishes the priest. There'd be, depending on parish and the timetable, you might have an early morning Mass, might have a later Mass, so the priest would fit in breakfast and some time for meditation, which is also critical. Priest really does need to take that time to pray, to set up the day in a good way that's founded on Christ at the end of the day. If you don't do that, the whole day will start to fall apart very quickly. So that's important. Also, there are many, many different things, again, completely depending on the priest, on the parish, that will then take over the parish's, the priest's focus. So he might have meetings, he might have schools, he might be a school governor, he might, as I say, have prison or hospital chaplaincy to deal with. I'm on a rota, on-call, emergency on-call rota with several of my colleagues around the area of Cardiff, covering all of the hospitals. So on certain days I carry a standard NHS pager, and if that goes off, I could be at the Heath or Llandoch or St David's, wherever that might be, to administer the sacrament to the sick usually, or it could be somebody's had some bad news and needs a bit of a chat to a priest to help them through that. So it's varied. Every day is very different. There's some administrational work as well. You never know what's going to happen at the end of the phone when the phone goes off, what they're calling you out to. Occasionally you'll get middle of the night calls for emergency end-of-life situations outside the hospitals. Those aren't too common, but they do happen. They've happened to me a number of times in recent months, actually, so it does happen. There are plenty of things to do, plenty of opportunities for a priest to use his talents, his interests, his gifts, and mould his priesthood into something that is creative, constructive, as long as he's informing that with prayer, as long as he's doing that in the wider context of the parish and in communion with his bishop and with his parishioners as well. There's many different opportunities to teach, to just enjoy priesthood. It comes with challenges, but it also comes with great consolations and great opportunities to really make a difference in other people's lives in a way that very few professions actually offer, in fact. And it is a completely unique lifestyle, and it's not a job, it's not a 9-to-5 thing, it's a complete lifestyle. You give yourself, you marry the church, you act in the person of Christ when administering the sacraments, confession, reconciliation. It's a beautiful experience, and as I say, every day is completely different, every day is interesting. You encounter something new, you learn something new. It is anything but boring, and it is anything but a lonely lifestyle. It's only lonely if you isolate yourself and let yourself be lonely. There's plenty of opportunities for fraternity and for being in other people's company if that's what you want. If you're more of an introvert, it's important to have your own space, but it's important to be generous and to look outwards to other people and to the needs of other people as well. So the priesthood encompasses lots of different personality types, it encompasses lots of different types of people. But one thing that unites the priesthood is that everyone is called to a mission by Christ. Everyone who is genuinely called, has a vocation, is called by Christ to help him in his mission in the individual way, depending on our gifts and our personality, that we can contribute to the building up of the church.